Hi everyone, welcome to Relentless Lore. I'm your host, Sarah Mack, and this is your story update for Rivals of Ixalan, Who Tells the Stories. So with the Immortal Sun gone, Vraska had taken it and planeswalked away, the rest of the people of Ixalan that were searching for it were just left in this empty room. Angrath and Huatli realize that with the artifact gone, so is the binding curse of Ixalan. So Angrath stands and yells, "I hate this plane, I hate this city, and I wish you all a viscerally painful death. See you never, pathetic fools." And with that, he planeswalked away. Saint Elenda enters the scene and realizes that Azor and the Immortal Sun are gone. She tells Vana and Mavrin to please take her to their queen. And Vana and Mavrin are really confused, and they're like, "Elenda, why aren't you going after the Immortal Sun?" And Elenda's like, "Because it was never ours to go after." She explains, "Our purpose was never to seek the power of the Immortal Sun, but instead to learn humility in protecting it." Vana just lashes out at Elenda after that, and Elenda just got sick of her back talk and snapped her fingers, and like that, Vana's face is on the floor. So, after Vana learns some humility in that moment, the three vampires leave and head back to the continent of Toritsan. Huatli and Tishana both agree that Orazca belongs to no one, and they part as allies, ready to negotiate for their territories. Huatli arrives back to the capital of the Sun Empire with proof that Orazca exists. That proof being her riding Zakama. For real, she just enters the city riding the three-headed elder dinosaur, just like she was riding a float in the Thanksgiving Day parade. And her friends and family and people were just as excited. She's welcomed home by her cousin Inti, her aunts and uncles, and the rest of her family. She then meets the Emperor in the temple and is determined to tell the story and determined to tell the truth, not just the story he wants to hear. He tells her that she finally receives the title of warrior poet, and there's going to be a ceremony to commemorate that the next day. And he says, during the oration, "Do not tell the story you just told me." Essentially, he was asking her to alter the story for a story of victory for the Sun Empire. That way, he can still receive support for future conquests. Huatli urges the Emperor to reconsider, that their people can finally have a period of peace. He simply refuses to open his mind and open his heart to this idea. Huatli realizes that she no longer needs the title of warrior poet, that her destiny is much bigger than anything she could have been given from the Sun Empire. She returns home and begins to tell her family the story of Orazca, exactly the truth, and even tells them of her spark and of her ability to planeswalk. And they were eager to hear the details of this fantastic story. They tell her that she is not meant to stay and be warrior poet and be just the Emperor's pet, but to go and travel to these different worlds to bring back their stories. Her family essentially ushers her out the door and packs her rations, and they even go as far as to go into the temple, steal the helm of the warrior poet to bring back to her to wear along her journeys through the multiverse. Before leaving, Inti smiled at her and said, "You are the warrior poet. It is your duty to gather stories. No one ever said they had to be only ours." So with that, she said she'd be back in a week, and she said goodbye to her family and planeswalked away. Well, everyone, I've reached my end step. If you've enjoyed the story update so far, please give this video a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe while you're here and hit the bell. That way you get notifications every time we drop new content. And now, I want to hear from you. Where do you think we could see Huatli in the future? Also, how do you think next week's story will conclude? Please leave your thoughts on the stack in the comment section below. Also, if you'd like to continue the conversation, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, @RelentlessLore. Thanks again, Planeswalkers, and now I'll pass the turn to you.